The Arch Gaming Network is proud to bring you this board game review. Now here's your host, Sean Smith.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. Today we're taking a look at Rattlebones, designed by Stephen Glenn and published by Rio Grande Games. Rattlebones is a dice building, dice rolling game where you are going to be visiting this quirky fun park, and as you go along you're going to visit these, attractions where you can swap out sides of your dice that will give you special actions to perform later, which will give you victory points, which will help you be the first one to find Rattlebones. Is this fun park really any fun? Let's take a look at the setup, the gameplay, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the other side. Okay, to set up a game, you're going to take these cards, Rattlebone cards, and you can see there are some pre-printed spaces already on the board, but you're going to take these, shuffle them up, and then place them randomly around the board. There are duplicates of some of the cards, so when you play, things may be mixed up. You may double up on this card or this, as it's already pre-printed on the board, but you may double up if that card comes out. After you see what cards you're playing with, you're going to get these are pips. These various pip tokens match the symbols on the board. So for whatever symbols you have out, you're going to set those around the board. You're going to take this train token. You're going to put them on 0 at the station. Now our house rule, we start at 1, but the rules state to start at 0. You have a gamble die. Place the gold tokens and the stars, stockpiles off to the side. Each player will get 3 meeples, larger meeples, and then 1 smaller one for scoring. You're going to have this Rattlebones character. He goes on number 65. Each player will get 3 dice, 1 gray, 1 black, and 1 white. And this pip remover, and you're ready to go. Okay, so we're set up here for a 2-player game. That means Mr. Rattlebones will start on 55. Your pawns will start on 0. Then your other 3 larger meeples, I think they're bunnies, but not really certain what they are. Anyway, they'll start on the starting line. You'll then take any of your 3 dice. You'll just pick one, it doesn't matter which one. And you'll roll it. 2. 1, 2. So I've landed on this spot here. It's important to note, and it's a thing that trips up most new players, is that when you land on a spot, you don't take that action. Instead, you're given the option to add that action to your die. So in this case, this is a 9 pip option, and I will add it to my die. So I would take this matching pip, and then I can use my pip remover, and I can remove any number that I want. Now I cannot remove Rattlebones, but I can remove any number that I want, okay? I didn't have to remove the 2 and I'll just place that on there. So now if I roll this and it lands on here, I get to take that action. We'll go over some of these actions in just a moment. Okay, so then the next player would take one of his dice and roll it and then move, whatever that happened to be, and then decide if they want to add that to their die that they just rolled. Okay, now it comes back to your turn. And again, you have a choice. You can take any of them you want. This one, of course, has a special power on it already, but you could roll any of the 3 dice that you want. So maybe I'll roll the white one here and 5. Now, I can move this one 5 and take, add this to the white die, or I could move one of my other ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and land and add this +1 to this die. So what are these actions and how do they help you move around the board and get victory points? Well, the first thing I want to tell you about is Mr. Rattlebones himself. If you ever roll this symbol, Mr. Rattlebones will be moving down back towards 0. You have this gamble die, and that symbol allows you to roll this die. Now, if you roll a number, you get that many victory points. But if you roll Rattlebones, he will move up the number scale back towards where he started. You have the 1 on this board, you have a +1. So every time you roll this die, you get 1 victory point. Now, if, say, on my next roll, I rolled a 2 with this die, okay, the white one, and I moved him 3, counting, not a strong subject. All right, so I move him 3. I've landed on this spot, so now I could remove the 1 and replace it with a 2. So every time I roll it, I would move 2 victory points, okay? And those go up to 5, but they are limited in number. So if someone grabs the 5 first, then you won't be able to grab it. You have the star, so you get to take a star from the pile whenever you roll that die. Then if you ever land on this spot at the start, you can turn in your accumulated stars. For 1 star, you move 3 victory points, but for 4 stars, you move 15 victory points. You have the train. Whenever you roll this, you see where the train is on the track, and then you get to move that many victory points. Train moves at it starts at 0, and every time you roll the train, you score that many points, and then you move them up. And he just keeps moving around the track. You have gold. So every time you roll this, you get a piece of gold. Now gold can come in handy because at the start of your turn, if you want to roll more than 1 die, you can roll an extra die for every piece of gold. So if you turned in 2 pieces of gold, you'd get to roll all 3 of your dice. There's the stock market ticker. You have a set of 5 stocks, and every time you roll this, you get one of the stock cards. Once the stock cards run out, whoever has the most stocks gets 10 victory points. Whoever has the second most gets 5 victory points. If there's a tie, the instructions tell you how to divvy up the points. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So depending on what place you are, you get to move that many victory points. If you're in first, you move 1. If you're in third, you move 3, and so on. You have the 9 pips. If you roll this, you get to move your token up to 9 spaces. You have the arrow. So if you roll this, wherever the arrow is pointing, that's what you get to do. Then you also have the thief. Now, when you roll this, you get to take 1 stock, 1 gold, or 1 star from every player that has one of those in their inventory. Okay, so you also have the X2. So when that is rolled, it pairs up with another die if it had a gold or a star or a victory point. So if I rolled these here, I can match this up with one of the two. So I can get 2 gold or 2 victory points, but I can't get 2 gold and 2 victory points, okay? And then there is the roll again. When you roll the roll again, you get to take this die and one of your other dice, grab them and roll them both, okay? If this had been a roll again, I would then get to take my third one and roll these 2. So now I get to do all 3 actions. If I had rolled a roll again, it doesn't matter. Once you've rolled all 3 dice once, then that is complete. So when something like this happens, I could steal from a player, take a stock token, and move one of my players 6 spaces. Now, it's important to note that when you are replacing a pip, you can replace one that you've already placed. So if I thought, well, you know what, I no longer want to collect stars, I could remove that and add whatever I had landed on out here to this die. The play is going to continue. Players will take turns going around this board and taking their special actions. They're going to move up the victory point track, and the first one to meet the Rattlebones is the winner. Okay, I'm just going to come right out and say it. I love to play Rattlebones. The customizability of the dice is so dynamic and so interesting. Every player can choose their own way that they want to get their victory points, and it really adds to the replayability. The components are really nice. The dice are nice and solid, and the artwork is really great too. The theme works wonderful. But as I already mentioned, really it just comes down to all of the different options that you have to be able to build your own dice. And that makes this game exciting. It makes it fun. Now, the box says it is a 15 to 30 minute game. 15 minutes is quite a stretch. 30 to 45, definitely under an hour to play. And it's easy to teach. Now, when a player first takes a look at this and they see all of these pieces, just assure them the game is so much more simple than it looks, because some people are going to see all those pieces and they're going to say, whoa, that is going to be way too much to try and remember or figure out. But it really is quite simple. The game also features a little bit of a take that, because you have the thief that's in there, or being able to try and get the stock tokens before somebody else does. And I find it a nice dynamic so that there is interaction amongst the players. It's just not everybody, customizing their dice the best they can and then, sprinting to try and get to Rattlebones. There is some back and forth also between the players. So really a home run, a fabulous game, one of my favorite games, and I give this game a 10. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to hit the like button and also to subscribe to our channel. Once again, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for visiting the Arch Gaming Network. For more great content, check us out at archgamingnetwork.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.